There was a big bet between Ethan and his friends. Ethan was known as the bravest student in class. His friends always teased him, asking, "Do you think you can spend the night at school?" Ethan, as always, squinted his eyes and accepted the bet. But this time, things were going to be different. "When it's 12 a.m., the school doors will close on their own," Ethan said, stepping back and smiling at his friends. "No one will be able to get out." His friends fell silent for a moment, then one by one they squinted their eyes, showing that they believed him. One of them, Jesse, nervously asked, "Do you really think you can do this?" Ethan smiled and replied, "Of course," and they all stood in front of the school doors. "Let's do this. We're spending the night here." As time passed, the school grew quieter with every minute. Darkness began to swallow every corner. Ethan and his friends moved through the empty classrooms, and at first, everything seemed normal. But something was wrong. They suddenly felt the air growing cold. Only one could feel this. They were truly alone. When the clock struck 12, the school doors slammed shut on their own. Ethan looked at his friends and said, "Here we go." But something caught his attention. At that moment, they heard a creak. At the end of the hallway, the lights flickered. As they moved closer, they heard strange whispers coming from inside. Jesse, moving closer to Ethan, said, "This place feels weird." Ethan turned to him, smiling, and replied, "Don't worry, it's just a sound." But as they took another step, the whispers in every corner of the school grew louder. With each passing moment, the fear turned into deep silence. As Ethan looked around, a door suddenly slammed shut. Jesse, screaming in terror, was thrown backward. At that moment, a shadow appeared from the dark corners of the school. Ethan tried to avoid seeing it by closing his eyes, but his fear was uncontrollable. His friends looked around in panic and tried to escape, but something else was happening. The door suddenly locked. Ethan, narrowing his eyes in fear, whispered, "I can't do this alone." But it was too late. Suddenly, the entire school began to shake. The sounds of old pipes underground turned into a piercing scream. Whispers turned into loud cries. Ethan and his friends huddled in a corner, but everything seemed lost. The air they were breathing felt strange. Something older, something worse was in it. Then the wall of the school cracked. A figure appeared, a dark, eerie figure. While his friends screamed and tried to survive, it was Ethan that the figure focused on. But strangely, Ethan realized that the figure, as he ran, was like a reflection. As it slowly pulled back, the shadow turned its face toward him. And suddenly, it was the face of the school's former principal. The man Ethan remembered as the school's old headmaster. Ethan, stepping back in fear, shouted, But you were dead." The principal smiled, but it was a smile like no other. "Yes, I died. But you had work to do here," he said, taking another step toward Ethan. "And now you need to see the end." At that moment, the whole school went silent again. Ethan, shaking in fear, stepped back, but he couldn't take his eyes off the figure. Slowly it disappeared, leaving only its reflection on the wall. A moment later, all the lights turned back on, and the school returned to its normal state. Ethan, still holding his breath, tried to leave the room, but the door didn't open. Every corner of the school had the same figure staring at him. Ethan was no longer alone, and just then, a light appeared outside the school. But something was wrong. The light didn't lead Ethan to another world. It pulled him deeper into his nightmare, because Ethan was determined to spend the night. But now, no one would get him out. Let me know your thoughts in the comments.